Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. As expected, Roman Reigns returned to SmackDown after Cody Rhodes beat Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match. The Bloodline was about to send Jacob Fatu down from the sky atop the structure, but Roman's arrival prevented it. After the original tribal chief leveled his enemies, Solo Sikoa escaped the cage. Fatu followed him but was coaxed back into the steel structure by Reigns. He obliged and closed the door. Before anything more could happen between the two, Sikoa pulled Fatu out of the cage. The tribal heir likely did this to his enforcer for the following 4 reasons. 4. It wasn't an order from Solo Sikoa. A straightforward explanation for why Solo Sikoa pulled Jacob Fatu away from Roman Reigns is that Solo didn't order Fatu to face off with Reigns. Solo is drunk with power as the tribal chief and doesn't let anything happen without his blessing. The Bloodline operates from the top down, with Sikoa having the last word on all matters. Roman Reigns ordered Fatu to come into the cage, and he listened. Since Solo Sikoa didn't give his enforcer the order, he pulled him from the confrontation. 3. Fatu distracted Reigns long enough for the attack to continue. Fatu entered the cage and closed the door, which provided enough time for Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa to regroup. They blindsided the head of the table but were still blasted after Solo pulled the Samoan werewolf out. Solo didn't mind sacrificing the WWE Tag Team Champions. However, potentially sacrificing his personal enforcer and protector would leave Solo vulnerable if he didn't get the job done. 2. He doesn't want Jacob Fatu outshining him. The history of enforcers in the Bloodline isn't in Solo's favor. He was the original group's enforcer and loyally followed the rules of Roman Reigns. In the latter's absence, Sikoa overtook the group and built it with stars only loyal to him. Jacob Fatu has been the clear standout of the faction. He's the difference maker with an electric presence in the group. Solo has to know this and has carefully taken steps to curtail the Samoan werewolf's popularity and impact. That could be part of the reason for making him his enforcer. Fatu also always stands behind Solo in the ring and pre-taped segments. He doesn't want a follower overshadowing his star power. 1. Solo Sikoa wants to be the one to take out Roman Reigns. There's a certain ego required to be the tribal chief of the Bloodline. Roman Reigns always wanted people, both fans and superstars alike, to acknowledge him. It's a psychological need for approval. That same megalomaniacal trait has been present in leaders throughout history. Kings, queens, presidents, and emperors always want the credit for everything but none of the blame. Solo followed Roman Reigns' actions as tribal chief, constantly demanding people acknowledge him. He also took the group over from the head of the table, so he wants to be the person to take Roman out. Jacob Fatu could probably do it, but Solo Sikoa doesn't want his enforcer to outshine him since he brought the Samoan werewolf to WWE. WWE teases a huge showdown between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu on SmackDown on this week's WWE SmackDown. A match between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu was teased. The original tribal chief returned after Cody Rhodes' successful title defense against Solo Sikoa in a steel cage match. After the match, the Bloodline ambushed the reigning undisputed WWE champion. Moments before Fatu could hit Rhodes from the top of the steel cage, Reigns hit the ring and took the fight to the Bloodline. After single-handedly taking out Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, Reigns invited Fatu back into the ring. The two superstars had a brief stare-down before Sikoa dragged the Samoan werewolf outside the ring, preventing another brawl. Check out the face-off between Roman Reigns and Jacob Fatu. Roman Reigns initially returned at the SummerSlam Premium Live event when he assisted Rhodes during the Bloodline Rules match between him and Sikoa. Several weeks later, the stable put him through the announcer's table, briefly writing him off WWE programming again. On SmackDown, the brawl between Reigns and the Bloodline ended with Rhodes returning the favor and helping out the man whom he beat for the undisputed WWE Championship. Since returning to WWE, the OTC has not competed in an official match. However, that could change if WWE decides to have Reigns and Rhodes team up against the Bloodline. In one of the most shocking moments on WWE SmackDown, Solo Sikoa made a sudden and forceful appearance, interrupting what was set to be a high-stakes confrontation between Fatu and Roman Reigns. Fans expected tension, but nobody foresaw the seismic shift caused by Solo's intervention. As the Bloodline saga takes another twist, we look at the 4 reasons why Solo Sikoa may have interrupted this critical moment in his family's ongoing feud. 1. Protecting Roman Reigns from a potential coup. The tension between Fatu and Roman Reigns has been simmering for months, with Fatu emerging as a powerful threat to the tribal chief's reign. While Roman has faced many challengers, none were as personal or as dangerous as Fatu, a member of the Anoa'i dynasty with a legacy of dominance on the independent circuit. Solo Sikoa, who has always remained fiercely loyal to his cousin Roman, may have stepped in to shield Reigns from a coup that could end his historic title run. For Solo, this wasn't just about loyalty, it was about preserving the bloodline as a family and keeping their power within their inner circle. Fatu has been an unstoppable force outside WWE, and his arrival on SmackDown felt like an invasion, a challenge not just to Roman but to everything the bloodline had built. Solo's interruption may have been a calculated move to keep Roman's position intact and to send a message to Fatu: the bloodline doesn't need outsiders. They handle their affairs internally, and Solo made sure of that by cutting off the confrontation before it could escalate into a civil war. 2. Establishing Solo Sikoa as the new enforcer. In recent months, Solo Sikoa has grown from Roman Reigns' loyal soldier into a force of his own. With the Usos' defection and Roman's increasingly erratic behavior, Solo's role has been under the spotlight. Many fans have speculated whether he could be a future contender for Roman's throne, and his interruption of Fatu may have been a power move to assert his dominance within the bloodline hierarchy. By stepping in at the crucial moment, Solo is making it clear that he is not just an enforcer, he is the future. He didn't simply protect Roman, he disrupted the very narrative that Fatu was trying to craft. By doing so, Solo signaled that if anyone is to challenge Roman for the head of the table, it will be him, not some outsider like Fatu. This move further solidifies Solo's claim as the true heir to the bloodline legacy, showcasing his growing influence and confidence in taking matters into his own hands. 3. Fear of losing control over the bloodline. One of the most intriguing aspects of the bloodline storyline has been the complex power dynamics between Roman Reigns and the other family members. Roman's manipulative tactics and psychological control over his cousins, especially Solo, have been key to maintaining his dominance. However, Fatu's arrival threatened to destabilize that control. Fatu, with his intimidating presence and rebellious attitude, represents everything Roman has tried to suppress within his family, a wild card with the potential to destroy the order Roman has carefully built. Solo's interruption could be seen as a desperate move to prevent Jacob from planting seeds of rebellion in his mind. Roman's fear of losing control over his enforcer could have led to Solo being ordered to shut down the confrontation before Fatu could sway him. Alternatively, Solo may have acted out of fear of what Fatu represents, a future where Roman is no longer in charge, where the bloodline crumbles, and where Solo's loyalty to Roman is called into question. By halting the confrontation, Solo ensured that he remains firmly under Roman's influence, at least for now, protecting the fragile order of the bloodline. 4. A potential power play by Solo Sikoa. What if Solo Sikoa's interruption wasn't about protecting Roman at all? What if it was a strategic move to further his own agenda? Over the past year, Solo has played the quiet but ruthless role in the bloodline, never speaking much but letting his actions do the talking. This time, though, his actions spoke louder than ever. By stopping Fatu, Solo could be positioning himself as a more central figure in the bloodline's future. He knows that Roman's reign cannot last forever, and perhaps he sees Fatu as a direct threat to his own ambitions. Solo's interference may have been his way of sending a clear message to Roman: I'm the one who protects you, I'm the one who stays loyal, and when the time comes for you to step down, I'm the only rightful heir to the throne. In this light, Solo's move wasn't just about stopping a confrontation, it was about controlling the narrative. By cutting off Fatu's challenge before it could fully materialize, Solo ensured that Roman remains indebted to him, making Solo's eventual ascension all the more inevitable. Conclusion: Solo Sikoa's rise amidst bloodline turmoil. Solo Sikoa's interruption of Jacob Fatu's confrontation with Roman Reigns will go down as one of the most critical moments in the bloodline saga. Whether he did it out of loyalty, fear, or ambition, one thing is clear: Solo's role within the bloodline has evolved, and this moment marks a turning point. As fans continue to speculate about what's next for Roman Reigns, Jacob Fatu, and the bloodline, Solo Sikoa's presence looms larger than ever. The question now is whether he will continue to protect Roman or if this is just the beginning of a power struggle that could see Solo challenging for the throne himself. For now, the bloodline is intact, but with rising tensions, shifting alliances, and powerful figures like Jacob Fatu entering the fray, the future of this dynasty remains uncertain. All eyes will be on Solo Sikoa as the one who could either hold the bloodline together or tear it apart from within.